So that's the reason I asked, Arjun's four brothers. So guess which
Yeah, Mahabharata's four brothers.
actually, so who are the four brothers? Let me see if you can name them.
Uh, Karna is obviously is a brother, but technically he was not known until late.
So, so you are taking the name of a brother who was not a kind of brother of Arjuna. And who are the remaining four? I said only four.
I couldn't recall the names, but
Yeah, this first time it is happening that Arjuna himself can't remember the other four brothers.
well, I'm fine with Ramayana, but when it comes to Mahabharata, it's obviously wrong.
Then your name is Arjuna and you do not know the four brothers of Arjuna. Your name is, your parents would have kept your name based on Arjuna.
No, sir. Karan and Arjun of Shah Rukh Khan and Salman Khan's movie.
Acha, they kept your name based on that?
Yeah, sir. My Tau kept my name. My father's elder brother, he watched that movie and he kept the name as Karan and Arjun.
Okay. Anyway, even that Arjun was based on
the Mahabharata.
Okay.
Arjuna.
Okay, tell me, who was the guru of Arjuna?
Dronacharya.
Thank God you named him. But you forgot about the Yudhishthir, Bhim, Nakul and Sahadev.
Yeah.
Arjun, I am going to interview you exactly the way you are going to be interviewed in the SSB. Yeah. So are you ready for that?
Sure, sir, yeah.
Okay, I am going to mark you and grade you exactly the way I would have marked you or graded you in the SSB.
Make sure that you don't miss any of our free classes and exclusive new videos on SSB Show Short Plus. Subscribe now and hit the notification bell. Follow us on Instagram for more informative and motivational content, offers and updates related to the armed forces. Visit our website for numerous online courses and study material. Call us on 6364052525 to inquire and register. Now let's get back to the video.
Arjun, the first thing I would like to know, you have been to the SSB before.
Yes.
And why do you think you are not able to make it? What were the reasons? Where do you think you are lacking? And how have you now prepared yourself for the next attempt? When is the next attempt? Yeah.
Yes, sir. So basically, I prepared well for the last attempt. So when I attended the SSB, I was happy with the performance and I was dejected that I didn't get recommended. I came back home. I wrote down everything. At that time, I realized that I didn't express myself well in the interview, whether it is personal interview or the GTO or the psych. In the psych, particularly, I was very slow in writing, where I didn't write beyond 30 watts and 30 situation reaction tests, which I was slow, which I felt that I need improvement. And expression in the term in the psych is my stories and situations were not well. When I introspected, it was not up to the mark for myself. And in the GTO, I was blank at times. I did well. I did well in the command task. I did well in the group task. Our team really did well. But I felt that I got blanked at some point of time. And to be particularly in the personal interview, I knew the answers when the interviewer asked me the questions. But I felt I didn't express myself well, whether it's strength or the achievement, my hobbies in the school days. I didn't express myself well. So the work was very simple, sir. I started writing diary after coming home, and I asked myself how would the diary writing help me in the SSB process. But diary writing helps me with organizing the things. It helps me with conveying the things which I want to convey in precise manner. That has helped. And I found the SSB preparing friends in and around Karaikal, where there are 5 people including me. We have started meeting weekly once or twice. We used to meet, we discuss about the SSB, we be in the process. And for the GTO specifically, I didn't do any of the things, sir. But I felt that after giving the interview, after giving the personal interview, I wanted to improve a lot of things. That is the way I convey things, the way I talk. And I did mirror talks. I've asked my brother to interview me. I've asked my friends to interview me so that I get the SSB exposure, the interview exposure well, sir. These were all my preparations, sir.
Okay, tell me, Puducherry, is so famous. You belong to that place.
Yes, sir.
And can you tell me when actually Puducherry was occupied by India? And what is the history of Puducherry very briefly? And tell me one place which depicts the complete historical significance of Puducherry where you would like to take any tourist coming. Yeah.
Sure, sir. Sir, I don't exactly remember the year when Puducherry got accommodated into India, but I guess it's briefly around 1964 to 1965, where the power transfer happened between the French government and the Indian government. And Puducherry was actually under Puducherry, and Karaikal was actually under the control of Chola Mandala kings, who were the ancient India kings during the Tanjore. They ruled from Tanjore. And to be specifically, Karaikal was the port for the Chola Mandala. And actually, Karaikal and Puducherry was named as Vadamarai Kadu in the history because the abundance growth of the kind of grass which was used for the farming for the cows and the shelters which they used. So gradually they changed the British, the French people who entered into the Puducherry in around 1730s. They couldn't pronounce the name Vadamarai Kadu, so they named it as Karaikadu, and eventually it transferred to Karaikal and Puducherry. And the historical significance in the Puducherry is that, sir, we have a large number of French buildings in the French architectures, which are very famous for Puducherry. And one particular place where a lot of number of foreigners and tourists from India comes is Auroville, which is in outer place of Pondicherry, which is in ECR, East Coast Road. Auroville is in society. It's in way of life. It's a different way of life where foreigners can get their land, where the tourists around India can come have a good time there, sir. So I would take people to Auroville if they come to Pondicherry, which has certain historical significance.
Okay, Arjun, the first thing I would like to ask you now is about your educational journey.
Yes.
Tell me, how have you done in various classes, right? Rather, your academic performance after your 10th class. Okay, tell me about your extracurricular activities. I would also like to know which competitive examination you appeared after your 12th class. Why did you choose your engineering? Okay, or whatever you have chosen for your graduation, what is the reason for it? Tell me about your close set of friends, what kind of friends you like, what kind of friends you do not like, and the reason for it. Okay, also tell me your favorite subject in 12th class and why you liked, and the subject which you did not like and the reasons for it. Have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, basically till 10th standard, I studied in a school called ONGC, where I was one of the very few who got admitted very early. My admission number was class number 5 in the ONGC public school. So till 10th standard, my schooling was very good, that I was in the same school. In 10th standard, I got 86%. And after 10th standard, till that it was in CBSE school. I moved to state board publication. So I went to state board school, which named after Thandai Periyar Government Higher Secondary School in Karaikal. I went there, and my marks were pretty good, but I could have got more. My marks were 76% in the 12th standard. And my extracurricular activities during my 12th and 11th and 12th standards, where I represented my school cricket, I represented interzone, I represented my Karaikal district and Pondicherry district in the interzone cricket tournament, and I participated in the inter-school cultural competitions, where I used to make voices of Tamil personalities. I used to do kind of beatboxings and stuff. So these were all my extracurricular activities in 11th and 12th standard particularly. And after 12th standard, I gave competitive exams for the NDA. I gave NDA. I didn't clear the NDA. I gave entrance examination for different engineering colleges and the JEE. I didn't clear that. And after 12th standard, I joined engineering in the first. I joined the engineering in Bharadiyar Engineering College in Karaikal. I got a government seat in that. I joined mechanical engineering. But after studying engineering for more than 1 year, sir, after 9 months, I felt that engineering was not my cup of tea. So I had to quit the engineering. So after quitting engineering, I joined BBA in Chennai, AM Jain College in Meenambakam, which is exactly opposite to the Chennai airport. So I joined BBA, and in BBA it was 3-year course. BBA was very good, pretty good course, where my college life was very good. Moving from Karaikal to Chennai, it was It was a great exposure. My friend circle widened. I made very good memories in college. In college time, my extracurricular activities got widened, and I represented my college in that. I had the opportunity to lead my college cricket team when I was in the final year, where we went on to win the trophy after 10 years of struggle. And I participated in the inter-college competition. I also participated in the elocutions and debates in college time. And I got 63% in the college, which I felt I should have developed. I should have got more marks in the college. And to be specifically, my friends, I have a lot of friends right from school days. We have in this ONGC public school, there were students from different parts of the states. There were students from Punjab to the Assam to the north and west. So people were diverse there. So my friend circle was very good there. And after moving to college in Chennai, friend circle got even wider. And to be specifically naming, I cannot tell that I like certain kind of friends. I do not like certain kinds of friends. Basically, we do not go by the instinct that they are these kind of people. We cannot categorize them. Only after knowing people, we may feel comfortable that with someone, we may not feel comfortable with someone. In that case, I have very good friends, but there are two people whom I name that they are very close friends of mine, or best friends whom have traveled together with me from my first standard. One is Akash and another one is Mahesh, who has been my classmates right from class 1 till class 12. They were my classmates and we parted away in the college. So these are my friends, and these are the questions which I felt I answered to yours.
Okay, you answered rather long, no problem. Okay, tell me, why did you leave your engineering? Firstly, why did you decide to go for engineering? Which branch of engineering did you select? Then why did you quit after just about 1 year and you chose the BBA? And in the BBA, how have you done? I can see your percentages again in the BBA is just average performance. So why do you think you did not take sufficient interest in the BBA? Or do you feel you have done reasonably well in the BBA? So what is the goal of your life? What exactly you want to do? Besides joining army, I can make out that you are trying to join the armed forces. But otherwise, what is your alternate goal? Yeah.
Yes, sir. So after 12th standard, so to be specifically or generalizedly saying, the career goals or the career aspect for us was very limited, sir. That is, in our area, the people who get very low marks, who barely pass, would choose the commerce and other subjects. Either it's engineering or MBBS. It's the two groups. We do not have much more choices. And to be in my context, my 4 uncles were engineers. My brother was already pursuing engineering. Engineering was not a choice, it was only option for me, sir. I was influenced by my family. Being honest, I didn't know what I wanted, sir. Engineering was a choice. I didn't know whether I liked engineering. I wanted to join engineering. I joined engineering on my family's influence, and I went on to join the engineering. I didn't know whether I liked engineering or not. And only after joining the engineering, I realized that engineering was not my cup of tea, because I could have mugged up things, I could have studied, I could have got the engineering degree, but I felt like that I could not have made a better engineer. And I could have just wasted my father's money for studying 4 years, paying the fees of doing something which I don't like. So I started contemplating about myself, about my decision now, how will affect the future. So I took things in my hand. It's not that I wanted to join BBA. I had 2 options, sir. One is BA in Tourism and Management, and another one is BBA. BA in Tourism Management because I like traveling. Ever since I remember right from my first and second standard, my family used to take us to every summer trip. We used to go somewhere, some locations. And after joining...
Arjun, basically my focus of the question is, you selected BBA. I want to know why did you select and why you have not done well in that. Do you feel you are satisfied now in the BBA? Or what exactly you want to do after the BBA? What is your now focus thereafter? That's what I want to ask. Yeah.
Sir, I choose BBA because my strengths lie around man management, effective communication, where the syllabus parallelly goes towards it. So I felt I can do justice to the course by choosing the BBA, where all my strengths reflect there. So I chose BBA, and I feel that I should have done better in the BBA. Yes, to be honest, I am sitting here and regretting the fact that I should have got more marks. I didn't know that my marks would play a greater role in life at that point of time. Uh, and to be coming to a question about my future plans of other than joining the army, as of now, I have not thought about anything, sir. As of now, till my age permits, till my till if I get medically rejected or something unforeseen happens, I'd keep trying to the army, and if not, I'll decide something later, sir. But as of now, I'm giving my 100% to get into the armed forces, sir.
Okay, you are giving your 100% to the armed forces. Can you tell me, if you get selected, which arm oblique service you want to join and why?
Sir, my first priority is army, sir. And I do not want to miss any SSB exposure, so I'm giving for the Air Force also. It's not that I wouldn't join the Air Force. If I get recommended, if I don't get recommended in the army, I would definitely join the Air Force. But my preference is army, and I want to join the Rajputana Rifles, sir.
Okay, tell me something about the Rajputana Rifles. Tell me what all you know. I want to know, where is the Rajputana Center? Tell me, who are the any two heroes of the Rajputana Rifles, and also let me know that how is a battalion of Rajputana Rifles organized? Have you understood the question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, two heroes of Rajputana Rifles, Captain Vijayan Thapar, Lieutenant Vijayan Thapar, who got martyred in the Kargil war, is one of the hero. And I couldn't recall any other name, but one who's in the Chinur Corps, Lieutenant General Dillon Singh, is a present-day Lieutenant General who is also from the Rajputana Rifles. And Rajputana Rifles Training Center, I couldn't recall it. I guess it's somewhere around Madhya Pradesh. I'm not sure about it. And how the battalion is organized, I'm not aware of it, sir.
Okay, you should know. It is such a simple question. Rajputana Rifles Regimental Center. See this, where the troops get trained.
Yeah.
It is in Delhi. You should know that. It's in Delhi. And Rajputana Rifles is a regiment which is part of the infantry. And you should know what is the broad organization of the infantry battalion where you are going to join.
Yes.
So you should know, this is a basic question, simple question. Tell me, how many in a battalion, how many companies are there, how many platoons are there? You have any idea?
I don't have any idea.
Okay, and you have no idea about the weaponry of the infantry battalion? Rajputana Rifles, what weapons do they carry?
I'm not sure. I'm aware of it, sir.
Okay, never mind. Now, Rajputana Rifles is an infantry. The last question about armed forces is simply a very simple question. What is the difference between infantry and armored? What is armored and what is infantry?
Armored Corps is the one who travels with the tanks and the motor vehicles. I mean, the motor vehicles in things, the assault vehicles. And infantry battalions are the one who are the workforce, who are the frontliners, and who they carry just the ammunitions like guns and rifles, sir. My broad classification.
Okay, that's very, very broad. Okay, can you tell me, anyway, and if you can tell me how many tanks are there in a regiment, or likewise in a regiment, how many squadrons are there? Any idea about that?
No, sir. Not aware.
Okay, doesn't matter. We will change the line from here. I would like to know about a family. Tell me how many members are in your family, who all are there, who's the member which is close to you, and who's your role model in your family. Tell me three things which you would like to learn or emulate from your father, and two things which you would like your father also to improve upon. Who's your role model within the family, and who's your role model outside the family? Or it could be anyone for that matter. And why? Yeah.
Yes, sir. My family basically consists of my father, mother, my brother, my elder brother, and me. And also my uncle, my father's elder brother. He has been living with us fairly from the date I could remember. So my father is a businessman. He runs a home appliances showroom in Karaikal. My mom is a homemaker. She's also an history graduate. And my brother, who did his engineering in the Pondicherry Engineering College, he is now working as executive engineer, as an executive engineer in ONGC, and he is now working in the Bombay High in the Western Offshore. And my role model in the family is my father, sir. Or my father has been, I would say, is a self-made man. My father wanted to join the armed forces. At the age of 18, he cracked NDA, and he couldn't join. He couldn't attend the SSB interview because my grandfather passed away during that time. So he quit his dreams. He quit his studies after the age of 18, where my father's elder brother was in the army. He was ex-captain. At that time, my father was the responsible for well-being of a family. So he quit his studies. He started taking care of the radio repair shop which my family was running. So he started to get into the business. He developed the business, and now he has made into it as a successful business. And my father is my role model. So the sacrifices which he had made for the well-being of the family and well-being of a society is something which I always look upon, sir. And my father is fairly close to me because it's not that I do not, I'm not close with my mom. I'm close with both the people. And to my father, I share a lot of extra things where my mom couldn't take it to herself. When my mom couldn't accept things, or when she feels that she get into a mold, that she started to care a lot for us, where she start to be emotional when things doesn't go well. So I share things with my father where he handles well. And things which I like in my father, three qualities which I admire about my father is, sir, first, his organizing abilities. Whether it is organizing any functions in our family or in our society, in our village, or at any temple function, he exhibits some very good qualities in organizing this up, because he went on to become president of Chamber of Commerce of Karaikal, and organizing ability is one thing which I like in him. And second thing is that, sir, his selflessness, his sacrifices for the family, as I told you already, he acts as a bond in our huge family, sir. And other thing which I like in, the most important thing which I like in him is he doesn't forces his ideas upon us, me or my brother. He doesn't force anything, whether it's career or academics. He doesn't force his ideas upon us. And I think that I feel that I want my father to improve or father to quit is, I don't want him to smoke, sir. He's a smoker. I don't want him to smoke, though he is very controlled with that. I do not want him to smoke. And second thing is that, sir, we want him to share things with us, share things which affect him, or things which he is going through, maybe any financial crisis or any bad day. He thinks that he do not want to share and spoil the children's mood. So we do not want that. He still thinks we are very kids, and we are kids. So I do not want that. I want him to share things with us, sir. This is what I like in my father, sir, and which I want to improve.
Okay, Arjun, that is understood now. Let me also ask you, you play cricket, okay?
Yes. Yes.
And two questions I have from cricket. Can you tell me, and up to which level you have played cricket, and what was your best achievement in the cricket? And I will ask you a simple question. Can you tell me what is the exact size of the pitch?
Yes, sir. Sir, cricket, I have represented my college, and I have represented Pondicherry under-19 team, and this was my highest level of cricket. And my achievement was I got best cricketer of the year in the Karaikal district for the year 2013 and 14, and I also got best fast bowler on the inter-college tournament in 2017. These are my achievements, sir. And when it comes to cricket's size, it's 22 yards. The pitch size is 22 yards, and in the meters, I could not recall the exact size of the cricket pitch, sir.
Okay, what is the width of the pitch? You only told me the length. What is the width of the pitch?
Width of the pitch, I'm not sure, sir.
The pitch has got also a length and the width.
Yes.
Okay, tell me, you told me about the pitch length. You do not know about the meters, doesn't matter, but at least tell me how many feet is the pitch long?
No idea, sir.
So you know only length in yards. You do not know in meters or feet. Can you tell me what is your height?
My height is 173 centimeters, sir.
173 centimeters. How many feet it is?
5'7", I guess. 5'7", around 5'7", 5'6".
Okay. If you know your height in both feet and meters, can you tell me how many feet are there in 1 meter?
Uh, Not sure, sir.
Okay. Okay, doesn't matter. I will ask you a simple question. Can you tell me how many inches are there in 1 foot?
Around 4.
So
Just a guess, sir.
you mean to say in a foot 4 inches are there? That's what you mean?
Just a guess, sir.
Just a guess. Okay, but you are wrong. You should know. These are very simple things which I am asking you. You know, how many inches are there? How many feet? Okay, I will ask you a simple question. Arjun, Arjun has to
Yes,
be very accurate always. Tell me
yes,
what
sir.
is the height of your room where you are sitting? I can see your room. What is the height
Yes,
of
sir.
that?
My height is 1.73 meter. So it used to be double the size of it, sir. Double the size of my height.
Hmm.
So it's around 4 meters, sir.
4 meters.
Around 4 meters, sir.
4 meters. So approximately how many feet?
Approximately 6'2", 6'3", sir.
So 6'2", 6'3" means what? How many feet?
Six, uh, 6 feet, sir. 6 feet and 3 inches.
6 feet 3 inches is the height of your room.
Yes, sir.
And you
It should
said,
be more. It should be more.
see, your height is 5 feet. You said how many inches? 7, 8 inches. You said eight
Yeah,
inches. So how can it be 6 feet?
surely about 10, sir. Yeah, miscalculation.
Okay, okay. Anyway, I was just checking your, uh, your practical intelligence. I was checking. So do you think your guess is right? Okay, I will ask you a very simple question. You know, you do not know how many inches are there in 1 foot. Okay, and can you tell me how many centimeters are in 1 inch?
No, sir.
Okay, doesn't matter. We'll proceed. No problem. Even if you don't know, it doesn't make a difference. Okay. And now, let me tell you, I would like to ask you your hobbies and your pastime activities. Tell me what hobbies you have, what pastime activities you have, how much time you spend in the social media or in the internet. Whenever you have a holiday oblique a Sunday weekend, how do you pass your time on a holiday or a Sunday? What you do? What is your routine on a working day or on a holiday? Yeah.
So my hobbies are reading books, playing badminton, gardening, and cooking. These are my 4 hobbies. And my routine during the weekday and the weekend doesn't make much difference these days because I'm preparing for the exams. And my routine during the weekday, but my routine during the weekday will be, sir, ideal day would be I'll get up around 7:30. I straightly go to the garden. I do the gardening works for I work for 1.5 hours. I come, I watch TV, I be with the family, we have breakfast, and I go into the study room. I start studying, sir. Till 1:30 I study, and I come for the lunch. And after lunch, I start surfing in the social media. I use Instagram or I use Facebook to a certain extent, where I watch any memes and videos for fun purpose. And after that, during the evening hours, I go play badminton. I go play badminton for 1.5 hours every day. And after coming home, I get refresh up and start studying, revise what I studied in the morning to afternoon. So this is how my weekday routine goes. And weekend routine in Sundays, it's exclusively for me to cook in my home, sir. When my brother is in the home, we both cook together. And Sundays we give rest to my mom, so we cook on Sundays, whether it's breakfast to lunch or dinner. So it's cooking, and we spend and I Sundays exclusively for the family. We go out for walking. We go out to temple together. We go sit in some park. We just have a very good time there. Sir. This is how the Sunday goes in my family. Sir.
Okay, okay. Arjun, now tell me what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? What do you feel? Tell me minimum three strengths and three weaknesses.
Yes, sir. So my first strength is, sir, effective communication, sir. Effective communication, what I would say is that, sir, right from my young age, right from I could recall from first standard. I was part of school annual day, Independence Day, Republic Day programs, especially skits and dramas, where it gave me an opportunity to converse with wider audience. So this is I consider one of the effective communication is one of my strengths. And second is man management, sir. Why I would say man management is because and I give the credit to my own JC Public School because of bestowing upon me with the various responsibilities of leading my school, college, cricket, volleyball team, which gave me an exposure of handling the people around me. And in the recent times also, we have done 2 flood relief works in Chennai and Kadalur, which involved much men and relief materials. And my third strength, I would say, is to make friends easily. Because if I go to a certain place, I can easily make friends, which I consider as one of my strengths. And when it comes to weaknesses, my first weakness, I would say, sir, when it comes to computer associated technologies, I guess I need to improve. I'm still backward. And second weakness, I would say, is that, sir, I wouldn't say this as weakness, where I felt this I should improve, is I focus on results, sir. I overemphasize on results. That is one thing which I feel that I should improve, sir. And these are my strengths and weaknesses, sir.
Okay, understood. Okay, tell me, you told me your strength and the weaknesses. If I ask you, what are your regrets of life? Can you tell me any 3 regrets of your life?
So regrets, as of now, I don't have any regrets, sir. I'm happy with what life has offered to me. And I wouldn't say regret, but one thing I would say is that, sir, I got Raja Puraskar award in the Scouts, the Governor award, but I didn't get the President award, Rashtrapati award, which I felt that I should have got, that I didn't get, sir. That I wouldn't say that as a regret, that is a missed opportunity, sir.
Okay.
So I do not have any regrets, sir.
Okay, so that was the thing about the award. Okay, tell me, you say that you are a leader. Are you a leader? If you say yes, tell me the 3 reasons why you call yourself a leader.
Yes, sir. I feel I'm a good leader, sir, because I'm a good communicator. And second, I do not discriminate among the people who are responsible, whom I am responsible for. And third thing, I always try to be the role model for my group of people, sir. Whether it's cricket, I myself put the responsibility on me and scoring runs. And if it is volleyball or any other sport or to anything, even the flood relief works, I try to be the role model to my boys, sir. So these are the 3 things which I feel which are making me as a leader, sir.
Okay, but you also call yourself, you are doing the management, you also call yourself a manager. And why do you call yourself a good manager? Tell me the 3 reasons for being a manager.
So manager is someone who is a multi-dimensional thinker, who is a very good decision maker, and who prioritizes things, sir. These things, three things are essential for any manager. That is, he should be a multi-dimensional thinker. That is, just he shouldn't get excited with the one single opportunity and go beyond that. He should analyze the situation and get into the deal. And second thing is decision making, sir. Decision making is part of the multi-dimensional thinking. Decision making, if it's slow decision maker or immediate decision maker, but a good decision maker can be a good manager, sir.
Okay, given a choice, you would like to become a manager or you would like to become a leader?
Obviously a leader, sir.
Leader. You won't like to become, given a choice, you would not like to become a manager, you would like to become a leader.
Obviously, sir.
Okay. Why do you think leaders are better than the managers?
So leaders, I feel, can influence a larger crowd, sir. Managers are someone who are very narrow. That is, they are responsible for the people who are who are around them. But leader is someone who can influence people in the larger stakes, sir. So I feel leaders are more responsible.
Okay. If I say to you, Arjun is a bit casual in his approach, also lazy, also a bit indisciplined, also he has lack of determination. What do you have to say?
I feel that I'm constantly improving in every aspect, being better than the day before. And if people say that I'm lazy or not determined, it's up to their perspective, I feel, sir. And I strongly believe in my qualities that I'm better in all this, sir.
Okay. But won't you agree that you are a bit, you lack self-discipline?
Yes, sir.
So
I
whatever,
feel, sir.
yeah, because whatever statement I'm making, it is after some due thought. That's why I want your comments to why, if you are, accept, if you are not, why you are not.
So I feel self-discipline is something which comes through practice, which comes through uh, the 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 human who you are. And for me, self-discipline, yes, even in my diary writing, if I keep a target for the day to complete, if I don't do that, I'm not self-disciplined. I do not have control of myself. So I feel at some point of time that I'm not self-disciplined, sir. Yes, sir.
Also, don't you agree that you have slightly casual approach to life, easygoing and casual approach to life? What do you say?
Uh, I do not agree with that exactly, sir. Maybe I'm not stressing upon things. Doesn't mean that I'm going easy on the life, sir.
Okay. Okay. Let me now ask you your views about the CAA.
Yes, sir. So CAA basically gives citizenship to the refugees from the three bordering countries which had the borders before the partition. That is uh, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, and Pakistan, and it provides citizenship status to the refugees who are already in India, and it also reduces the years of number of residency which people should be here in India. That is, before it was 11, and it has reduced it to the 5 years to give citizenship, sir. This is my basic knowledge about the CAA, sir.
Okay, so you didn't tell me still. I wanted your views. I don't want the act. I want what are your views about it? That's what my question is.
So my views are it's a great decision which has come from the government to give the citizenship status to the uh, refugees or the minorities of these three countries who have faced persecution. I feel it's a great step by the government to give the citizenship status to these countries, sir. Country people, sir.
Hey, okay. Now tell me, India, China. There is a border skirmish, and they are eyeball to eyeball confrontation going on.
Yes,
What do you feel is the solution to it? One, what do you feel? How do you compare the Indian armed forces with the Chinese armed forces? Do you feel if there is a war, we are comparable to them or we are not? What do you feel about it?
sir. India-China spark has been in the news for the recent times, and as of my views are that, sir, instead of going for a full-fledged war, there should be in diplomatic level talks, and the situation shouldn't escalate from here. Is that which I feel, sir? Because India and China's trade imbalance is rising every day, where India has the trade deficit of more than 80 billion, and it would be India would be at point of time it would be at receiving end. So I do not want India or China to be escalating the situation. I want the diplomatic level talks and the ministerial level talks where people disengage from that area and people accept each other's sovereignty, sir. And India's and China's armed forces strength, China's numbers in the armed forces are higher than the India, and Chinese numbers in the materials are much higher than India. But India's advantage is that, sir, India's air force has not been into the action in 1962, which Chinese doesn't know how the Indian air forces it can come as a surprise attack if an outright war break out for the Chinese. And also, I've watched a documentary which states that Indian mountain warfare is something which is tremendous and which will act as no clue for the opponents, sir.
Okay. Okay, tell me, what is the issue between India and Nepal? Why they are again some border issues? What is the exact issue?
Sir, exact issue of that is, sir, when India was under the British rule and India and Nepal were under the British rule, after the Nepalese war, British conquered the Nepal, and there was one river. I don't exactly remember the river's name, and the border was divided between the river's left and right side, but
Okay.
eventually
Tell me which district it is. Where is the problem in which district?
Kalapani, sir.
Kalapani is not a district.
Okay.
Which state? Which state?
Bihar.
Okay, no, you are wrong there. You go into details. It's in Uttarakhand. Okay.
Uttarakhand.
Tell
Okay.
me, if I ask you, what is the difference between Article 370 and 35A?
So Article 370 is that, sir, it gave special status to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. And Article 35A includes a lot of different set of articles where it gives details about the Article 370 and the permanent citizenship and the land rights in the Jammu and Kashmir, sir.
Okay. So you mean Article 35A is part of 370?
It is inherent part, I would say, sir. Includes
Okay.
both of things which is present in 370, sir.
Okay. Okay. Tell me, what is the difference between SARC and ASEAN?
SARC is abbreviation of South Asian Association of Regional Countries, Regional Cooperation, and ASEAN is Southeast Asian countries, sir. This is South Asian countries and Southeast Asian countries. Association is ASEAN, sir.
So what is the difference between them? Where are their headquarters? What is the full form of ASEAN?
Headquarters of ASEAN is in Dhaka. Headquarters of SARC is in Bangkok, if I could recall what I've learned from. And as a full form of ASEAN is Association of Southeast Asian Nations, sir.
Okay. So you can put the headquarter wherever you feel like. You have put the SARC headquarter in ASEAN country and ASEAN headquarter in SARC country.
Sorry, I mixed up. Sorry.
How can it be possible? How can the SARC headquarter be in Bangkok and ASEAN be in Dhaka?
No, it cannot be, sir. Yes.
Tell me, let me see, how do you know the world geography? Do you have two questions I will ask you? One is, tell me the neighboring countries of Switzerland.
Okay.
And secondly, tell me, why is Panama Canal so famous?
The first answer to your second question, Panama Canal acts as an interior, the passage route between the Indian Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean, sir, where the ships from the eastern side of the countries have to travel through the Pacific Ocean, Pacific Ocean. Instead of that long route, ships are taking the Panama Canal. So it reduces the distance and saves the money for the shipping industry, sir. This is the first thing about the Panama Canal. And about the countries bordering the Switzerland, I do not have any idea, sir. Maybe I could give a short about it, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's in Europe. So I would say, so no, sir. I'm backing up from this, sir.
Okay. Tell me, Panama Canal, how come Indian Ocean has come there? Indian Ocean is around Panama Canal somewhere?
Atlantic, Indian Ocean is out here. Arabian Sea, sir.
Anyway, you have a look. It could be Pacific and Atlantic. Which country and where it joins, you have some idea how much distance does it save? Anyway, tell me now, I will ask you another very simple question. Okay? And the question is, can you tell me the neighboring states of Uttarakhand?
So Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, because Uttar Pradesh, it was part of Uttar Pradesh, sir. So Bihar, Himachal Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Haryana.
Mhm.
Yes,
Okay, you better see Uttarakhand in the map and see Bihar. And Uttarakhand, does it share its boundary with any foreign country?
yes, sir. Nepal.
And what about China or Tibet?
Tibet is integral part of China, but I'm not sure about the China, sir. But it shares its border with Nepal, if I know.
Okay. Okay, doesn't matter. Now tell me, if I suppose, say, that Arjun becomes the advisor to the Prime Minister Modi, and Arjun is tasked, to implement any three policies which he considers most important and most challenging for India. So, which three policies you are going to implement if you get one day chance to implement these three policies? Yeah.
So, first policy would be, sir, any policy about the poverty alleviation, sir, which India has been going through years. What I would do is, sir, I don't know exactly what policies which I do, but with the help of the advisors and the ministries, some policy for the poverty alleviation, if it's not in the overnight, but an policy where through the set of months or years where India is poverty free, that is, people will have better life in India. And second policy would be, sir, I would make India an industrial state, sir. Industrial state in the sense India has to be an industrial superpower, like how the China is. Because I feel that India has got a lot of barren lands which they can put up to the effective use, which I feel that India can rule the world through its exports, sir. Instead of just exporting the raw materials, I feel India can export the industrial goods. That is one of the policies. And third policy which I feel I would do, sir, I cannot think of anything now, sir.
Okay, so you will miss such a great opportunity where you have a chance to implement a policy. Oh my God, you could have done something about the corruption, you could have done something about the unemployment, you could have done something about the woman empowerment, you could
Yes,
have done something for the army. Oh my God. Anyway, I will give you another chance. Tell me, if I ask you, what are the three greatest challenges as per you which our country is facing?
so three greatest challenges. First is security and terrorism, sir. Security
Okay.
threat has been India's problem. And second is
Mhm.
unemployment, which
Mhm.
is going up in the highest rate. And third
Mhm.
thing is that, sir, India's dependency, sir. That is, India needs to be self-reliant. That is, India is dependent on the other countries, which I feel, sir. These are the three great challenges, sir.
Okay, you could have taken some action against these now, which you are telling.
Yes,
You know.
I would have. Yes, sir.
And tell me about your girlfriends, because looking at you looks like that you have two, three of them. Tell me how many girlfriends you have, and which one do you like the most, and why?
So I have not had a girlfriend. I have not fairly had any girlfriends as of now, but I have had a huge crush right from my school days till my college days. And to be blank, I do not have any girlfriends, sir, but crush I've had on many, sir.
It looks like looking at you, and the crush are unending. They are still going on. It looks like.
No, as of now, I do not have any crush. My last crush was during my college days, sir. After that, I do
Okay.
not have any, sir.
Okay. So you have never proposed to any girl. No girl has ever proposed to you. What could be the reason? In spite of you being such a smart guy, why the girls are disliking you?
No, I've never felt that I should propose to someone. I've got two, three proposals during my school and college days, but I do not feel like I've felt like proposing anyone. But I like to be in distance of having the crush on someone, sir, rather being the relationship.
Okay. Okay. So you are avoiding responsibility. Is it so?
Doesn't mean that I am avoiding responsibility. It feels good for me to be in a certain distance and watching my crush rather being the relationship, which I feel that at this point of time, I do not want to be in any relationship, sir.
Okay. Suppose you believe in God.
Yes, sir. Very much, sir.
God comes to you and says, Arjun, I can give you any one thing in life. Any one thing, whatever you want to ask, whatever. What will you ask?
Sir, I've actually asked these questions a lot of time to myself. One thing which I would ask is to God is that, sir, I would ask Him to come meet me whenever I feel like asking, sir, so that I will multiply my wish of asking to Him more. So this is the serious answer which I've thought about this for a long period of time. Sir.
So you should. I think you are fit for a political kind of job. Have you seriously thought of joining politics?
No, sir, not yet, sir.
I think you have something like that in the back of your mind because a typical political answer you have given to this question. Okay, tell me now. God is also, he doesn't like politicians much. I mean, the God doesn't like them. He
Yes, sir.
says to you, okay, now Arjun, I am going to give you three qualities. What three qualities you will ask from the God?
Three qualities from
Yeah.
God which I would ask is that, sir, I would ask Him to give me the linguistic nature, sir. That is the man who could speak multiple languages. I would ask Him to give that. I feel that as a quality.
One.
And
Second.
second thing, I would no, I'm blank, sir. To ask to God, I should.
Oh
I'm not.
my, I don't know why you miss such great opportunities. You could have asked any quality from the God. Even you could
Maybe
have asked for those OLQs which you have out of the 15 OLQs.
yes, sir.
So you don't want to ask anything?
Obviously, sir. After you saying that, I can feel that I can ask Him to the
Go ahead.
effective intelligence
Okay. What else?
and the practical knowledge of mind, sir. These are the two qualities that I would ask for. Effective intelligence and practical thinking, maybe. I cannot, aptitude, I do not exactly know how to put the words, but uh, be good in
Okay.
practical knowledge. Yes, sir.
Okay. There are so many things to ask from, but God is also very smart. He says to you, He's giving you another chance. And He said, Arjun, here is another great opportunity for you. You can now drop your three bad qualities or bad habits. Drop them now, the time is running out. What three things you will drop from your personality? Quick.
So I would ask Him to get rid of my result-oriented mindset, sir.
Okay, second.
Second thing, I will ask Him not get the overthinking attitude of mine.
Okay, that is the first one only. Anyway,
Okay, sir.
if you call it a second, otherwise it is based on the first one. Anyway, third.
Third thing is that, sir, I would ask Him to uh, stop my junk food eating habits, sir. If I feel like
Okay,
quitting, I'm doing so.
okay, junk food. You can think anything you can ask for. Actually, you have asked for two things. Anything you want to drop.
I feel it's nothing like to be dropped, sir.
Okay. Don't you think you should drop your overweight also?
Yes, sir.
Because you look like overweight.
I'm overweight by 3 kgs, sir.
Okay. So don't you think you can drop that also?
As I'm working out, without the help of the God, even I can.
Don't you
reduce it,
think
sir.
you can also drop your lack of willpower?
No, sir.
You
Can improve
don't.
that.
You want to improve yourself.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, Arjun. Now I am going to give you an interesting situation.
Okay.
Let me see. Okay. Suppose Arjun can fly like a bird.
Yes, sir.
You can just fly. You can do this and you'll take off. And you can fly all over the places and land back at your home. No fuel, no nothing.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
You can just keep on flying and whenever you want to come back, land here. Like a bird. You can even land on big trees.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
And the second choice you have is you can be invisible whenever you want. You have to do just this and you are invisible. Whenever you want to get your body, you have to do this and you are back. Out of these two choices, which one will you choose and why?
I choose to be a bird, sir.
Hmm.
I choose to be a bird because it gives me the opportunity to fly and cover the larger distance immediately. so I can go visit the places whichever I feel like without money or whatever it is. So I would choose to be a bird, sir. It gives me an added advantage of being an air. Whereas if I choose to be invisible, I'll still have to travel through the train or the airplane or anything, sir, which takes time, sir.
Okay. Okay, Arjun, what an opportunity you have missed in your life. Today, write an essay, write one page, both about bird and being invisible.
Yes, sir.
You could have been the most powerful man in the world had you chosen invisible. You could have become a great national asset next to Modi only. Next to Modi. You could have, gone along with the Trump in his personal aircraft or Xi Jinping. You could have gone with Modi. You could have gone anywhere, any airline, no visa, nothing. As a bird, bloody anybody will shoot you down. Okay, nobody will allow you to cross.
Yes.
And you imagine you will be good for nothing except yourself. You can't carry any load that is just roaming around, and you'll get fed up of that. And look, you could have got all the secrets for our country, nuclear plants of the opponents. You could have done bloody surgical strikes every second day. Whole world would have been scared with you, and you would have been a national asset. How the hell did you sort of forego such a great chance? Yeah.
Yes, sir. I feel maybe if there's a second chance, I would still make it to be an invisible.
So I had given you so many bloody opportunities,
Yeah.
but somehow you tend to miss those opportunities. Huh? Okay, Arjun, I have interviewed exactly like you as an SSP. Okay, exactly. I have already graded you. Okay,
Okay.
your grading is complete. I'm going to give you marks. Tell me how many OLQs are there?
15 OLQs, sir.
How are they divided?
The effective intelligence, social adaptability.
How many factors?
I don't
In
remember.
SSP, you get marks out of?
300.
You have very less knowledge about the armed forces and very less knowledge about the SSB still. Okay?
Okay.
Now get your paper and pen. You'll forget otherwise.
Yes, sir.
I will give you 4 gradings. What you exactly in the SSB. I'm marking you as in SSB style now. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Because you are going for the SSB.